Shalom everybody, my name is Barry Segal and this is an emergency update from VFI News. I wondered last night and early in the morning why I was waking up and I couldn't sleep so well. Well friends, it's just early afternoon, a few hours after waking up to the news that the IDF carried out a massive preemptive strike against Hezbollah rocket launchers in southern Lebanon. Western intelligence officials told the New York Times that these launchers were loaded and ready to fire a massive barrage at Israel's commercial capital of Tel Aviv at 5 a.m. According to senior analysts quoted in Israeli media, IDF bases, Ben Gurion Airport, and Mossad headquarters in a city along the coast of Israel with strategic nodes in Israel's electrical power and water grids were also in the crosshairs. Hezbollah clearly meant for this massive attack to be a knockout blow that would put Israel on the back foot and possibly even prompt Iran and other terrorist proxies to pile on. Well, I can just imagine Hezbollah chief Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah sitting in his bunker somewhere deep underground cackling with delight at the thought that he would get credit for starting the final battle that would see Israel's demise. But that's not what happened. Instead, it was Hezbollah which received a hard blow that put it on the back foot and possibly avoided the very war Nasrallah thought he was going to win in the first round. A brief explanation is in order here. A big move by a guerrilla army is always very risky. Just like when an individual soldier fires his weapon, he sends bullets at the other side, but he also shows the other side where he is, so he can start shooting back at him. If he's foolish enough to move around too much to try and get into a better position before he opens fire, someone on the other side might even see him moving and kill him before he has a chance to even get a single shot off. That's more or less what happened this morning in southern Lebanon, friends. The Hezbollah rocket squads were obliged to come out of hiding in order to load all their launchers with rockets and ready them to fire. But the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, was watching closely and waiting for them to do that very thing, while the Air Force already had their jets armed and ready to launch. They destroyed thousands of these launchers and stopped the Hezbollah plans in their tracks. But that's not all this strike accomplished. When the IDF destroyed all those launchers this morning, it also destroyed all the rockets that were loaded into them, as well as many other rockets that were stacked up nearby, ready to be loaded after the first volley was away. It's likely that many of this evil organization's most highly trained specialists were also taken out by these strikes. Oh, too bad, huh? Getting back to our metaphor, imagine an individual soldier with a rifle. He probably carries around 500 rounds of ammunition for that rifle, but if a bullet fired by the other side hits the rifle and breaks the firing mechanism, then all of those bullets become useless. A weapon is useless without ammunition, and ammunition is useless without the weapon, while both are useless if the soldier himself is killed. Pretty logical, huh? Well, all of that having been said, Hezbollah managed to fire over 200 or 300 rockets and UAVs into Israeli territory in the immediate aftermath of the preemptive strike, causing some damage to civilian communities and starting fires as usual. Now, I want you to remember this, that when you hear that a rocket fell in an open area causing no injuries or damage, that doesn't mean that it doesn't cause any problems. There have been dozens of fires started in forested areas and agricultural fields by these rockets, and civilian firefighting teams have had their hands full putting these fires out. This is a good place to remind you that Vision for Israel is working to provide assistance to civilian civil defense teams, as well as bomb safety shelters, equipment, and training to medical first responders, and much more. And talking about the fires, we need a lot of special protective clothing for those fire people that are facing these fires and this radical heat temperatures that are just roasting out there in the northern sun. Well, we're also providing assistance to families who have lost their income due to this war and are struggling to stay afloat. And we also want to be prepared to help them as we lead up to Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and the special holidays coming up. So if you want to help us provide all this desperately needed assistance, please go to visionforisrael.com and click on the Projects tab. There you'll see some of the ways you can be part of blessing Israel at this critical hour. Now, the hour is still critical despite this very impressive strategic success Israel just had in taking out so many Hezbollah launchers and rockets. Nasrallah is scheduled to make a statement at 6 p.m., so we'll all hear about it sometime soon, and even before that, Hezbollah spokesmen are saying some very strange things. According to the narrative they're putting out, the only thing that happened this morning is that they launched a strike on Israel to punish us for the assassination of their chief of staff, Fuad Shukr, in Beirut last month. They're not admitting to have suffered any damage from Israel's strike, much less are they acknowledging that the IDF destroyed thousands of their launchers along with the ammunition and key personnel. In fact, they're just saying that these reports are just Israeli propaganda designed to reassure the Israeli public, who Hezbollah claims to be terrified in the current circumstances. Now, my comment on that is that no one I know here in Israel is terrified, and in much of the country, life is continuing exactly as it always does, other than we know the northern border communities. Adults got up this morning and went to work. Children who are on summer break from school slept in and then got up to eat a late breakfast before plopping down in front of the TV or playing video games on their phones. Dogs got taken for walks, fish got fed as they swam in their tanks, stray cats prowled the streets looking for the best place to take a nap in the sun, and so on. Hezbollah's deceit and gaslighting about how they managed to teach Israel a lesson while not suffering any serious damage themselves is an example of what I call the fog of war machine that has become a regular feature of life in the 21st century. The problem with lying is that one sometimes has to back up lies with some kind of action that makes it look like you were telling the truth. In this case, that means that Hezbollah's refusal to admit that they just took a really big hit means they're going to have to do something to prove to everybody else, including themselves, how tough they still are. That means they will continue their attacks against Israel and might even try something even more destructive than the attack that was just thwarted. We'll have to see what Nasrallah says in his statement this evening and what his henchmen try to do next. Actually, I invite the henchmen to get rid of Nasrallah. That's just an idea. But no one has to wonder what Vision for Israel will do next. We're going to continue to provide assistance to everyone in Israel who needs it, whether they're Jewish, Arab, Druze, citizens, tourists, refugees, Christians, Muslim, or whatever, and the household of faith. We're also going to continue producing news updates like this one so that our viewers will know the truth about what's going on and not have to rely on the false narratives put out by evil lunatics like Hassan Nasrallah. Again, if you want to help out, please go to visionforisrael.com and click on the Projects tab. And while you're there, sign up for our newsletter. Give a thumbs up, my friends. And by the way, pray for us as we will go ahead, God willing, and place another 10 safety shelters this week along the northern border communities in Israel. I'm Barry Segal, and this has been an emergency update from VFI News in Israel.